Hey soldiers, they're saying inflation is coming down, and if that's true, because remember, I caution you, take what the government says with a grain of salt. You really got to delve in. But if inflation is coming down, that would be a great thing. Be even greater if wages weren't falling as well. So it's basically a zero-sum game in a lot of respects here. We're watching American wages fall as things continue to be elevated in terms of expense. And when we look at the inflation numbers, it's got to understand that that's a complicated algorithm that they put together and come out with this number. But when you really look at it and feel it, you go to the grocery store and, your own personal inflation rate. How does it feel when you go there and you get food for your family? Are you still looking at elevated prices? Well, according to the data, you are. What we're going to talk about is these wages. And look, guys, we harp on it all the time. In the year 2023, going into, the midway portion of the century here, 21st century, you need multiple streams of income. We are far beyond the point at which this is an option, okay? In America today, where we're going economically, if you don't have multiple streams of income, you are hustling backwards. Listen, go ahead and subscribe, enlist, become a soldier of finance. It's very easy to do. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button and boom, you are a soldier. I want you to let me know that you did subscribe, that you did enlist and become a soldier. Let me know in the comments and I will salute you. Also, I want to salute all of the soldiers of finance around the world. And we have a growing list of soldiers out there all around the world. I'm so proud to be a part of what we're doing here. Now, as I always say, I don't care where you reside in any country, floor of the ocean, surface of the moon, hit the thumbs up button. What this does is it's a vote of confidence, and it lets YouTube know that you want this video, this type of information, you want more people to be privy to it. So Americans can break out of this phase where we get excited about how much a quarterback is awarded in a contract. God bless him. But when's the last time he showed up and showed concern for any raises that you got, right? All right. We want Americans to understand how this economy works so they can make it work for them. Just like all these fat cats and big wigs are able to do because they understand how money works. So thumbs up, share, and if you're not a soldier, subscribe. The 2-year anniversary of declining real wages for American workers. We have hit that sad 2-year anniversary. This week marks the 2-year anniversary of declining real wages for ordinary American workers due to ongoing high inflation. The latest consumer price index released this week shows prices grew 20% faster than wages over the last 12 months. So your hard-earned money is being outpaced. Inflation's falling. That's what the government tells you, right? And they puff out their chest. But again, you are headed off to the Piggly Wiggly or the Kroger or the Giant, depending on where you live in the country. You understand these brand names. 6%. That's food inflation is up around that level. Okay, so when you go and try to feed your family, real world stuff. Okay, not these academic numbers that are entertained by Washington, D.C. They're eating just fine, okay? So, the 2-year decline in living standards for ordinary Americans proves once and for all that Democrats are America's anti-worker party. They really are. Because remember they came out with the Inflation Reduction Act? Well, congratulations, Democrats. They're going to get out there and they're going to talk about inflation falling, but they're not going to talk about the wages falling, okay? And your question might be, well, to what extent are Republicans concerned about it? I don't know, because I'm not hearing them talk a lot about it. They don't have the bully pulpit of the White House, granted. But in an effort to make things appear better than they are, we don't hear Biden talking about this. let's see. Their easy fiscal and monetary policy, they being the liberals, known as modern monetary theory, has been wholly discredited by this prolonged erosion of the dollar's value and workers' quality of life. Yet, still, they demand more massive deficit spending that would put upward pressure on prices. For instance, Biden's recently announced budget would raise the deficit from $1.4 billion in 2022 to $1.6 trillion in 2023 and $1.8 trillion in 2024. The total deficit would increase by $17 trillion over 10 years. What do you think that's going to do for your dollar, for the value of your dollar, right? What do you think it's going to do for your share of the national debt? What do you think that's going to do for your taxes? It's going to increase them. All right, now, this $17 trillion over 10 years, that's more than the entire national debt held by the public before the events of 2020. And I think you know what I'm talking about. Democrats refuse to negotiate any spending cuts in return for raising the debt ceiling, accepting the dangerous status quo of around $1 trillion wasted in debt interest payments each year. This is what you can do when you have the world's reserve currency. Okay, you could do stuff like this. I think I'm going to do a video on this. The British military, they are saying that they're at their lowest point of personnel in 4 centuries, okay? And that they're having some real deal issues with actually being able to afford equipment and get like their, I think it was the HMS Prince of Wales is their aircraft carrier, one of their aircraft carriers, one of 2. The other being the HMS Queen Elizabeth. Well, the HMS Prince of Wales has a lot of technical issues. And there are a lot of budgetary constraints. Doesn't look like the Parliament in the UK wants to or is able to provide the money to address these concerns, okay? And remember, the UK, they had the world's reserve currency at one point, but they lost it and then the dollar came in, okay? So this is, you want to see what's going to happen with America as our dollar loses dominance. All you got to do is just look across the pond at the UK. I got a lot of good friends in the UK and a lot of subscribers on this channel as well. And I hope they comment and, expound on that. All right, while the mainstream media is promoting this month's slowdown in CPI, or Consumer Price Index, the inflation metric, they ignore how inflation under Biden's presidency is approximately 15%. Those on fixed incomes are 1/6 poorer today than when President Biden took office. And core inflation actually increased compared to last month, demonstrating that the inflation battle is far from won. The whole Inflation Reduction Act, whatever. The worst may be yet to come. Under Biden's nose, nations across the globe are rapidly replacing the dollar as a trading currency. We go on and on about that. We've covered that extensively, thanks to a few factors. The weaponization of the dollar with the Russian sanctions, okay? Countries are like, whoa, don't want that to happen to me. We even seeing our ally France say, oh, wait a minute, this is a bridge too far. And then we're also seeing a reaction to the way we left Afghanistan, okay? That was very embarrassing for this nation, okay? You had our men and women in uniform. They went over there. They did their job for 20 years. They did it in an exemplary fashion, only to have their legs cut out from under them by none other than the U.S. government. To boot, we left the Taliban in a better position militarily, all right, than we came there and found them in. So people are looking at that saying, American politicians allowed some guys with AKs and sandals to run them out of the country, literally. And then you have someone like Kirby, Admiral Kirby. Oh, there was no chaos. I didn't see any chaos. I mean, it was just orderly. And you have a military plane literally being chased down the runway. Now, yeah, it's true. Some people were trying to get on that plane. Some people did, sadly. And as it ascended, of course, you know what happened. But imagine the desperation to get the hell out of there, that you will hold on to the exterior of an airplane. But many of those people were cheering as that plane rolled out of there. Most of those people weren't trying to get on the plane. they were cheering it. Okay, you look at any of the scenes. They saw this at Xi's office over in China. They saw this in Russia. Okay, in the Kremlin. Our allies saw that. All right, so when you see things like that, it starts to erode the confidence you have in the United States of America. So we got the BRICS nations coming online, talking about creating their own currency. What do? A lot of Americans laugh. Oh, no one's going to take them seriously. We'll see. Okay, now, will it happen tomorrow? No. What will eventually happen here in our lifetimes is we will have a multipolar world in terms of political influence and economy. Okay, economic influence. The dollar will eventually be held by fewer nations as a reserve currency. We're going to get somewhere around 45 to 48%. Right now we're at 62% of reserves held by other countries. They hold the dollar. We're going to be between 45 and 48% by 2035. Okay? And yes, that will still make us the largest held currency, but there will be a definite decrease, okay? And there will be other currencies that may even be backed by gold and oil. Because remember, we don't want to drill for oil here. It's too good for us. We'll use it, but we let the brown and black countries drill for it, okay? But dirty oil. So what do when we wanted more oil? We called up, we being Joe Biden, called up Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and asked him to increase output. And he said, I'll give you a little bit, but we want to keep these prices high because that's in our best interest. Okay, Joe Biden? And here recently they have cut production again. America has more than enough oil. We could drill for our own, but we choose not to. All right? And that is something that is a plank of the Democrat left agenda. I mean, it's just the truth, people. Small businesses are struggling to get funds to grow, to hire, to buy the equipment that they need, says Chryson Bratton, owner of Piper Whitney Construction in Houston, who can't get credit to purchase a new tractor. Okay? Real world stuff. According to the Federal Reserve, U.S. bank lending fell by the most on record at the end of March. So these companies, if they're not able to expand and get the work, this has a downstream effect, so they don't need as many employees. And what that says is, hey, look, the market is what it is. We can hire you at this rate, and you take it or leave it, basically. The demand just is not there. The only way out of this unstable economic environment is to end the fiscal madness. Fiscal madness being fiscal policy that the Congress and the president control in the form of taxation, whether or not they're going to increase taxes, whether or not they're going to lower taxes. There's also monetary madness out there as well. Now, the monetary policy, of course, is controlled by the Federal Reserve in the form of monetary tightening. How much money is going to be out there on the street? What are the interest rates going to be? That sort of thing. To the end, they want to empower. What we should be doing is empowering small businesses through pro-growth policies, like those in the Job Creators Network, the American Small Business Prosperity Plan created by the Job Creators Network. This may not be exciting as culture wars, right? Yeah, we did talk about Dylan Mulvaney and that whole thing. And we talked about it from a business standpoint. We didn't talk about it from the standpoint of, lifestyle or politics, because it definitely does have a business aspect to it, big time. But these culture wars are taking precedence, okay? We're deciding what beer we're going to drink here. We're upset over, people saying, hey, I don't want that story read to my kids because they're probably around, 15 years too young for that. All right. And you got a whole bunch of Americans saying, no, we should do it. We got prosecutors who are saying, okay, statute of limitations run out on this crime, but I'm going to prosecute you anyway. And then on the other hand, taking violent criminals, okay, and giving them bail. There's this guy up in New York. He wasn't the owner of the bodega. Now, for all of you up there in New York, do me a favor. Why do they call it a bodega? What does that mean? I've never understood that. Here in Baltimore, we call it the corner store. I know that there are regional differences. Explain that to me. So anyway, you got the bodega owner up there, and I'm trying to find his name. Jose Alba is the name of the guy. I think he actually worked at the bodega. He didn't actually own it. Anyway, a guy named Austin Simon came in. Now, it's important to note that Jose Alba is 61 years old. Austin Simon was 35 years old. He came in belligerently, okay, attacked Alba. And actually, Simon's girlfriend came in, also attacked Alba. So this guy got stabbed up, and he said, you know what? These people are going to kill me if I don't take action. So he defended his life. And he stabbed the guy, Simon, and he killed him, okay? And instead of giving him a medal or the key to the city, which is what he deserved because someone just violently attacked him, they attacked that guy because the girlfriend couldn't afford a bag of potato chips, okay? That's how much respect that these savages gave to life, all right? Guess what they did? They locked Alba up, threw him in Rikers Island for the better part of a week or two, okay, for defending himself, all right? And this guy, Simon, had a record, okay? Probably should have been locked up somewhere, but he was out on the street attacking innocent people. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of the insanity of the United States and these culture wars. And we're going to address problems of the past by persecuting people here in the present, all right, instead of worrying about where this nation is going from an economic standpoint, right? All right. So speaking of that, I want you to go on and watch the video that we did talking about the cities and the fact that because of this laxed attitude where criminal activity is concerned, major American cities are just places where you really probably want to get the hell out of. Not just from a standpoint of safety, which is paramount, and peace of mind, okay, but also from the standpoint of your wallet. Why would you continue to pay taxes in an area that doesn't respect your right to life? Watch this video, okay, on the channel, and let me know, comment in that one, and let me know what you think, all right? Guys, I'll talk to you soon.